So here's what I want to do today. I want to go through every single skill, most of them in Sifu, and tell you how and especially when you should use them. But for the sake of this video, I am going to only target the non-focus attacks and maybe save it for another video. So we have all those skills and we need to understand exactly when and how to use them, which is very important because you just don't want to be throwing hands. It's very important to know in which situations you can use some skills and in which other situations some other skills might excel at doing some other things. So we're going to go in training, and I know this room is quite red and it's not easy on the eyes, but this is the only place where I can freely hit people without them dying too fast. So it's going to be a great way to showcase some skills. And I still wish this room was a different color, like white or blue, but hey, it is what it is. And right now I'm just, the very first skill I want to talk about is crotch punch, which is my go-to when it comes to playing aggressively as opposed to playing defensively. And the way you want to use this skill is by performing it the moment you see that enemies are about to attack you. It's going to interrupt them and they're going to go into a semi-stun state, allowing you to perform a combo or a follow-up attack. And it is quite reliable. It works against almost every single enemy which doesn't have super armor. I'm talking about disciples and juggernauts and also bodyguards. So it's going to work against everybody and it's quite simple. Again, you need to perform crotch punch the moment they're going to start the animation, start attacking you. It's going to often stun them. It's quite useful, especially against flash kicks, because they have many openings. The moment they start twerking or breakdancing, what you want to do is land the crotch punch. They're going to be stunned and then you do with them whatever you want. It's very useful, reliable. It works 10 times out of 10 because they don't have any super armor except maybe a handful of attacks. But in my experience, whenever I'm facing a flash kick, I never struggle to land a crotch punch. It works against bosses as well, whether it's Jinfang, Kuroki. But keep in mind, it doesn't work against disciples because they have super armor, and if you try to perform crotch punch, you're going to get hit in the face. It also works against those elite versions of gangsters because, well, the animations, the starting animation, it takes a long time. So whenever they start jumping or whenever they want to throw a kick, you can just perform the crotch punch and push down, and that's how you start the combo by performing chasing strikes. And the idea behind crotch punch is to stop playing defensively. You need to stop waiting for your turn and make it happen. By performing crotch punch, you don't have to wait. Again, you don't have to wait. You don't have to sustain multiple attacks. You don't have to get good at blocking. You still need to get good at blocking, but not as much if you just perform crotch punch often. Now let's talk about snap kick. Snap kick is a great move that you can perform, especially if you want to close the gap between you and the opponent or opponents. Now, the way I tend to use it is as a combo starter. I would perform snap kick and then just start inputting all the skills, because the beauty of Sifu is you don't have to wait for a skill to be for the animation to be over before inputting some other skill. You can go into from snap kick to crotch punch to a push to chasing strikes. You can play the way you want to, and instead of just running to the opponent, you want to push them. You want to snap kick your way to them and then perform a combo. And you can also perform snap kick to jump over some sweeps, especially when it comes to Fajar, because he loves sweeping, especially in the master difficulty. That guy loves sweeping the floor with your blood. So whenever that's the case, you need to be very fast and you need to know that the sweep is coming. Otherwise, you're going to get hit by his 50-50 mix-up, which basically means that you're going to get hit by that mid-kick he can perform. Like, like that one. So if you know the sweep is coming, and it doesn't just work with Fajar, it works against flash kicks and anybody performing a sweep attack, a low attack. So whenever that's the case, you just jump over it. Sometimes if that's a regular enemy, you can interrupt what they're doing. We can break the combo, stop the animation. But in most cases, especially against bosses, you won't be able to stop them if you perform snap kick. Keep that in mind. So the way you want to use a skill when you are facing multiple people is going to allow you. It's like the free flow combat in Batman or even Spider-Man. You get to go from one enemy to the next, whether it's like going from left to right. Use snap kick to quickly get there, close the gap fast, do whatever you want to do and get out. Honestly, a pretty useful skill. I tend to use it often, and I think you will too. I'm still quitting. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, on to the next one, and the next one is the sweep. Oh, good old reliable sweep. This skill is by far one of my favorite because, well, it's amazing. You just get to beat people up while they're on the floor, and that's the thing. People tend to just use the sweep to knock enemies down, but the sweep shines whenever you are performing multiple sweeps in a row. And the way it works is every time you perform one sweep, you want to perform a dodge really fast, and then you're going to be able, it's like a reset, and then you're going to be able to perform another sweep and then another one. It takes some skills and some getting used to. Don't be afraid. You're going to make it if you just train. That's what this video is about. It's about telling you what you need to do. So you perform a sweep, you cancel it, and you perform another sweep. Now, the sweep by itself is a pretty useful skill if you know who especially is vulnerable to it. And the flash kicks, they love being swept. I know those girls can be a handful and they are potentially responsible for people quitting the game altogether. But I'm trying to tell you that they are quite vulnerable to being swept. So even if you don't perform an attack initially, you can just go in there and sweep them. You need to be fast, they're going to fall almost every single time. They're going to fall on the ground. Then you can decide to make them in the face, or you can just keep sweeping using the sweep cancel. It's very useful. The sweep by itself is very useful whenever you want to breathe, especially against a boss like Yang, who is pretty aggressive. He tends to press you, he tends to be super aggressive, and he won't let you recover your structure, and that's usually how people get hit and take a lot of damage. He will be very aggressive. So the way you want to use a sweep against bosses such as Yang or overly aggressive enemies in general is like whenever you have an opening, whenever you perform a proper dodge. I'm talking about a dodge which is performed on the last string, on the last attack of a string. You'll be able to knock them down, and you don't want to perform another sweep right away. You want to take maybe two seconds to breathe, allowing your structure to go just a little bit down. That way, whenever the boss is back up, for some reason you cannot sweep Yang while he's on the floor. I don't know why, but he's the only enemy he can't sweep while he's on the ground. He's just built different, I guess. So whenever you perform an attack or you are under pressure, you need to recover some structure, you perform a sweep. He won't get swept unless it's after a dodge or a parry. So keep that in mind and use the sweep wisely. It is an amazing, and if I had to make a list of the top 5 skills I use the most, it is definitely going to be up there. It is that good. So I highly recommend using it. I highly recommend trying to just getting familiar with the timing and trying to perform cancels, those like multiple sweeps in a row. So coming up next is Bomb Strike. Now, it is, in my opinion, almost impossible to make it far in this game, especially in the arenas, without using and understanding exactly how Palm Strike works. So how does it work? Well, basically, it's going to allow you to push people away at any given time. It works especially well against normal enemies because the special enemies tend to have some kind of super armor, and unless you perform a dodge or parry, you won't be able to push them back. And it doesn't suffer from the same limitations as, let's say, the directional throw right here, because in order to perform a directional throw, you need to perform a parry or you need to punish enemies post dodge. And whenever you perform the directional throw, it is a grab, and in this game you cannot cancel the grab animation. You're going to be locked in, and whenever people hit you, you're going to take damage because, well, you cannot dodge it. So it's some kind of commitment. Whenever you perform a directional throw, it is a commitment, and you don't have to commit to anything whenever you're using Palm Strike, which is the reason why I think you should use them interchangeably, like one or the other, depending on the situation. In my opinion, whenever you're facing more than one enemy, you do not want to use that directional throw. It's not safe. You can, but it's not safe. And Palm Strike is especially good whenever you are facing multiple people, because you can push them in multiple directions. Just trying to breathe, try to see clear, to have a better view over your surroundings. You just push them back, left, right, back, up. It's up to you. But also very important, when it comes to the arenas, you're going to have multiple challenges which involve defending a square area, or the shape differs from one challenge to the other. But essentially, keep in mind that it's almost impossible to make it if you just focus on beating people up. You won't be able to make it. So the idea behind the arenas is to just help you master every single skill, not every single one of them, but the most useful one. And if you just focus on Palm Strike for those challenges where you have to protect an area, you're going to notice that it's way easier than actually defeating people. But it takes some skills, because you need to know exactly which an enemy you want to push, and maybe they're going to get pushed into other enemies, and those enemies are now going to be stunned, allowing you to perform a directional throw if it's safe. So Palm Strike, definitely a reliable skill. It's also how you start your chasing strikes or chasing trip combo, which is, again, those two are probably one of the most damaging combos in the game, or skills in the game. So you push them back, you perform chasing strikes, or you just push them back because you want to protect an area. I remember there was that one challenge, Beyond the Brink, in the Dragon Arenas, and unless you fully understand how Palm Strike works, you will not be able to actually have the 3 stamps or the gold stamps in that challenge, and actually any other Dragon Arena challenge involving defending an area or keeping people away. So Palm Strike, it's definitely a go-to. I think I have a video dedicated to that one skill. You should check it out. And one skill I'll probably not spend so much time on is the Hook Intercept. Now, I don't want to say that this skill is useless, because it's not, but other skills perform what that skill is meant for better, which is why I tend to not use it at all, except maybe to extend combos or to start a combo. So the way this skill works is you have super armor while performing it. It means that you cannot be interrupted, but you're still going to take a bit of damage. It doesn't work against bosses. It's quite viable against normal enemies, especially the gangsters, the irregular mob. And I think this skill truly shines whenever you have your back turned, because it's going to be able to perform that elbow move, which is going to most likely stun them. It works the same way as crotch punch. Whenever you have your back turned, you're going to be able to stun enemies and interrupt them, which is great. But also, there is a there is a way to bypass taking damage whenever you perform a Hook Intercept, which is great. But it's also, I'll say, it's not worth it. It's not worth it, because why not just use crotch punch? Well, here's the thing. Whenever you perform Hook Intercept, The moment you feel like the enemy is going to land the attack, because remember, you have super armor, but you can still take damage. So whenever you perform Hook Intercept and still get ready to block, you're going to be able to both perform Hook Intercept and also block the attack. I hope you can tell that I'm still blocking the attack. Whenever you see the parry thingy right there, like right there, it means that I successfully parried the attack even though I was still trying to perform a skill, which is good. I feel like this is truly where the Hook Intercept shines, but it's so unreliable because you need to be pressing multiple buttons at once, and I don't think that's reliable. And I think all the skills excel at doing that one thing better, like crotch punch, dog strike, and like, yeah. So honestly, unless you want to extend combos, I would say it's not quite useful, so there is that. On to the next one, and the next one is dog strike. I just mentioned that actually. So dog strike it works the same way as crotch punch, so you can use one over the I just keep quitting, which is annoying, but so dog strike, like I said, you can use the skill the same way you use crotch punch. The moment you see that the enemy is about to attack, you perform dog strike, and in most cases you're going to be able to interrupt the animation and put them in a semi-stun state, allowing you to perform if you want this silly combo, which is performed by holding the block button while performing dog strike. You're going to be able to perform multiple dog strikes in a row. And back when the scoring system was the way it was, we had to rely on this skill, this silly skill, to score multiple points and extend combos. But I'm really glad they made some changes, and now you get to play aggressively and still get rewarded. You actually get more points by just playing the game now. So dog strike can be used the same way as you use crotch punch. So you just choose one over the other, and that's it. Whenever you have your back turn, he's going to perform again that elbow move, which is the same as that one move you performed while having your back turn and performing the Hook Intercept. So you can see some similarities in the way you behave sometimes whenever you have your back turned. And like I said, you either do this or you use crotch punch. But keep in mind that whenever you have your back turn and you perform the elbow move, unless you hit them before they hit you, you will still take damage. So keep that in mind. Dog strike, crotch punch, you get to choose which one you prefer. I prefer personally using crotch punch. I prefer landing those, and it's just a personal type of preference, and I guess you do you. Now, let's talk about a skill which does not discriminate. I am talking about Charged Backfist. This skill doesn't care about how fat you are, how tall you are, or your gender. The moment you land the back fist, they're going to respect you, they're going to be stunned, allowing you to perform a combo. All you have to do is just learn about the animations of the enemy you're facing and land the back fist the moment you feel like they are, I'll say, tweaking. The moment they move, you land the back fist, they're going to respect it. It works especially well against bosses which have a long build-up when it comes to the animations, like Shen. Shen can tell. They say dead man tell no tale, and Shen surely can talk about backfist because he must have PTSD from receiving so many backfists in the face. But so do his disciples, because those people will power through every single one of your moves, but the one thing they respect, the one thing which calm them down, is a charged back fist in the face. So the moment you see that they are coming to you, because they will come, they always come, they always do, you land the back fist and GG. They have headaches. I love it. Charged back fist is the one. Again, it works against everybody. Bosses, regular enemies, everybody respects it. And also, if you don't know, people, because it's possible you don't know about it, if you have the skill unlocked and you perform charged back fist while holding a knife or a machete, you're going to perform a one-shot attack, and usually it's going to one-shot everybody who is not a boss. Again, regardless of size, and they are dead all the time. By the way, can you kill your sparring partner in training? I don't think you can. Can you? I don't think so. So anyway, Charged Backfist, amazing. Flowing Claw, amazing. Flowing Claw is, I tend to use it often at the beginning. You know, when the game launched, I used to to look over the skill, but it's quite useful, and it's also thanks to Liquid Drone, which is a fellow content creator. He sleeps, eats, and I guess everything he does it right, including Flowing Claw, and he's the reason why my interest peaked when it comes to this skill. So the way you want to use it is, well, the same way you would hold L1 to perform multiple duck strikes in a row, you can also hold the button to perform multiple Flowing Claws in a row. And you can use this skill, the way I will sometimes use it is to avoid getting hit, because you have, it's some kind of evading move you can perform. If you time it right, you can still get hit if you time it wrong, but you can avoid pretty much everything if you time it right, and you can even slap enemies in the face while doing so. So it works against Shen a lot. Everything works against Shen, like he is quite weak, and you can just get familiar with the timing and perform Flowing Claws to avoid getting hit. Again, you can just do it the regular way, you can dodge the regular way, you can parry, or you can be stylish, you can be like Liquid Drone and perform, and you just replace every single skill by performing the Flowing Claw. So you also get to have your back turn, and it's going to allow you to maybe catch enemies by surprise. You know, you can become a madman, flowing, clawing, and whenever they are coming to you, you can land a back fist, or because you have your back turn, you can then perform the elbow move with Hook Intercept or Duck Strike. It's overall a great move. It's going to change the way some skills are performed. The kick, for example, is going to be a high kick. Whenever you perform, you press the heavy attack button while your back is turned. You can catch enemies off guard, especially if you are surrounded. Yes, let's say you are surrounded and they are coming to you. You land a charge back fist. You know, it's unpredictable. You're not going to block it or try to avoid it. You catch them off guard. So overall, Flowing Claw, definitely one of those skills you want to master. It's I use it all the time. I think I recently made a video where I no damage the whole thing, you know, and I think I was using it. It feels natural. Whenever you start using Flowing Claw, there is no going back. You become a Liquid Drone wannabe. There is no going back. And honestly, top 5 most useful skills in the game, especially because it allows you to avoid getting hit sometimes. So good. Now, when it comes to lightning strikes, and I think also sharp strikes, I think those are post parries move. Yeah, post parry. Those two can be used one or the other. Basically, that's how you would punish enemies and sometimes get them into a stun state, because parrying is not enough if you want to make sure that the enemies don't retaliate. You still need to hit them in the face at least once, and you do that by just pressing triangle or square. Now, in my case, I usually prefer using triangle. You can use whatever you feel comfortable with, and whenever I'm using a bat, I tend to press triangle a lot because I just don't know why. I feel like I'm just comfortable. So sharp strikes, lightning strikes, it doesn't matter. Just use the one attack you feel comfortable using at post parry, and you're going to be able to punish the enemy. If you don't do that, they're not going to be stunned. Keep that in mind. Okay, now crook foot. This skill is very situational, and you're almost never going to use it unless it's a 1v1, because it's performed by a grab, you know, and whenever you are performing your grab, well, like I said, you cannot cancel. You can cancel out of it. You're going to get hit if another enemy is going to target you, which is most likely going to be the case whenever you are facing more than one person. So you perform it by blocking after a hard parry, and the reason why I chose this version of the gangster, the advanced version, is because there is no string, there is no hit, no attack in their strings you can punish with quick foot, none. So it's important to know exactly which enemies you can perform it against. I guess it works against everybody, even against bosses, every single boss besides maybe Fajar and Jinfang, but it works against disciples because you'll be able to perform those hard parries. Those parries which stop them in their place. You're going to notice that the animation, they just stop whenever they are doing, and this is their cue to hold triangle and perform quick foot. It works well against Yang, but it only works against one string. He can perform like only one string, and it's usually something he does whenever you I think it's a way to punish you. Like he will block your attack, and it is some kind of sharp strike or lightning strikes. Like it's post parry. So whenever you see him do that, that's your cue to perform quick foot. And it's the same thing. It's just like this one. This string is the only one you can perform against against Yang, to actually punish him whenever he whenever he's about to punish you post parry. I haven't found another string you can punish. I tried even blocking his tiger attack. You know that one. Even if you parry every single hit, he won't back off. You know, so that's why I would say it's better to sometimes just dodge and perform a sweep, as opposed to trying to perform a quick foot. You can still perform it, but you still have to wait for the right time and the right combo you can punish. So overall, I'll say it sits at the bottom of the list when it comes to usefulness, because, well, again, it's a grab and you cannot cancel out of grabs, which is already a bad thing. Whenever you see a downside like that, I tend to stay away from skills with which comes with that kind of downside. So quick foot overall, decent but not viable when it comes to its usefulness, especially when facing multiple people, and it also is viable only if they perform some strings you can punish, which is again not good. Now let's talk about a skill which wasn't always good but eventually get better and actually quite useful today. I'm talking about Invert Throw. Now the way this works is it's going to allow you to switch places with the person you are facing, the person you are hitting. And at first it wasn't always great because, first of all, we didn't understand how it works because the description was wrong. But they also, I think it was a year ago, they added the iframes to this skill. So whenever you perform it now and you are surrounded by multiple people, you won't take damage whenever you are doing it, which is great because before it used to be a grab. It used to behave as a grab, and like I said before, grabs are not good because you can't cancel out of them. And whenever you are performing like crook foot or the directional throw and someone hits you, you're going to hit the punch, which is regrettable. But that's not the case for invert throw, and you especially want to use it when you are facing multiple people. When you are facing multiple people and let's say you are next to a ledge, you're about to fall and you don't feel safe, you want to use it to just switch places and put them at a disadvantage. You know, you just Uno reverse the whole thing, which is great. And I think the highlight is the fact that you won't take damage whenever you are performing it. It is simply amazing. So basically there is no drawback when it comes to using the invert throw. I highly recommend using it, especially when you are facing a wall or you find yourself in a dangerous situation where you can fall. I think it's very useful in those arenas where you are facing. I think those thingy where you are standing on the platform and there is nothing to to protect you from falling. And whenever you feel like you are on like almost falling, you can just switch placings and they are gone. They are going to fall and not you. Amazing. Invert Throw, definitely something you want to get familiar with. It's also quite easy to input. You just press a button and just run toward the enemy and boom, you perform. This guy is still relentless, man. Every single time I don't play for a while, I come back, Yang is still a beast. This guy, this is how you make a last boss. He's just built different. So it works against bosses too, as you can see. I was able to perform it against Yang, and it works against everybody, so use it. It's quite useful. You won't get hit out of it, so it's amazing. Next we have Capchoi, huh? So I would never use this because the slide kick exists. So I would never run toward people and press square, because I would rather just knock them down by sliding. See, it's one of those cases where it just comes down to personal preference. I don't want to run up to them and just slap them in the face. I don't. It's kind of funny though, I gotta say. You just slap them in the face like that. What I would rather do is use slide kick, which in my opinion is very reliable. And if you have multiple enemies, I think the same can be said about Capchoi too. If you have multiple enemies, you can just slap all of them together, and the same can be said about slide kick. If you have multiple people standing together and you perform slide kick, they're all going to fall, and then you start sweeping, which is great, right? That's amazing. So next, I think we have chasing strikes and chasing trip kick. Oh, those ones, in case you didn't know, chasing trick is the single most damaging skill in the game. Whenever you perform chasing trip kick, you're going to deal a lot of damage, which is great, because usually the way I go about it is I use it as a combo ender. You want to knock them down after you perform chasing strikes and all those other skills like crotch punch, snap kick. You end it by knocking them down, and usually I think there's a handful of people which are going to survive the combo, chasing strikes into chasing trip kick, especially if they were already stunned, which is amazing. So the way you start chasing strikes and chasing trip kick is by performing either a push with palm strike or a grab with the directional throw. You throw them and then you start striking, or you just make them trip. It's amazing. Honestly, those are, I think I use chasing strikes and chasing trip kick even more often than I use snap kick or crotch punch. It is that good because it just feels natural. You can cancel the chasing strikes at any given moment to do something else. Again, the game gives you so much freedom when it comes to how you want to use your skills, and you should use that freedom to get creative. And that's exactly what chasing strikes is about. You can cancel it. Again, you can cancel it at any given moment. You can even perform the dance full, which is performed by, I'm not going to be able to showcase it in the training. I'm going to use, I think I'm going to just grab a clip from later in the game where I actually play the game. It's not going to be able to, I think it's impossible in training because enemies don't get stunned long enough. But you can cancel the lightning strikes and just keep performing. It's like you cancel the strikes before it even happens, and you can do it forever. So a very mad person can potentially reach 100,000 points on one level if they can perform the dance full indefinitely. But again, it takes a creative person, because that would take maybe 30 minutes to do so. And you have my respect if you can dance for 30 minutes. I will respect that. So in training, I'm only able to perform the dance full once or twice before they recover, and before that's impossible, because it only works when the enemies are stunned. when you see those two buttons to perform a takedown, it means that then they are at your mercy and you do with them whatever you want. Always keep in mind, one thing is to practice, but you still need to go in there and get beat up. You need to get familiar with the way this game works and behaves outside of training. Hook Intercept, a push and then chasing trip kick. He's dead. Block, and another push. See, this is what we practice, performing palm strike to push the enemy away. And then another one. See, the game allows you to be free. Use that freedom. For example, you can use directional throw to throw people over whenever you are close enough to a ledge. In that case, I wasn't facing the ledge, so I slammed his face instead into it. But this guy, I want to position myself well enough. I use the crotch punch, he's stunned, and bam, he's dead. That's why I said that crotch punch is my go-to when it comes to playing offensively. I don't have to parry as much, I can play aggressively. I can use environmental mastery to either throw that bottle, or I can just use snap kick, go back, throw the bottle, and then throw him over. Again, amazing freedom. You get to decide how creative you want to get. I can throw that guy, but I decide to throw him over that other guy, switch places, push him again, perform chasing trip kick, and then that guy is stunned. I push him right where I want him to be, and then I throw him over. This game is amazing when it comes to the freedom. You are given so much freedom. Feel free to use it. I feel like some people don't understand that you don't have to wait for a skill, for the animation of a skill to conclude if you want to input another skill. And the sky is the limit. You get to choose how you want to fight. And all those skills we went over, even those other combos, you see how you have those combos like backbreaker, which is performed by pressing triangle, square, and triangle. I love that combo, but it can only be performed if you have one person because it behaves as a grab. So I tend to never ever use it. I prefer using my own combos like chasing strikes, cancel it, perform Charged Backfist, Hook Intercept, crotch punch. Again, the sky is the limit. You can talk with them. You get to talk with the enemy right there. You can wait, and the moment they attack, you push them. You knock them against the wall. I love this game, and I can't wait to see what they do in a possible sequel. It doesn't have to be the same story, but you have so many other martial arts they can explore, and I'm sure they're going to deliver, because this is just Pac-Man. This is just, imagine what they can do with Aikido, with Taekwondo, with all those others. The sky is the limit for slow clap, and I know that right now they are aware of what they can do, and the reaction from the audience was so positive that we're going to follow them, we're going to support them. Right here I'm going to try to land backbreaker. See, it is so satisfying when you actually do it, but it's not easy to perform because you can miss an input and so many things can go wrong. Anyway, like I said, I'm going to save another video for the fixed attacks, and those videos take a long time this video is almost 40 minutes long. Be sure to drop a like, to subscribe if you want to encourage me, and I'll see you soon. And before I forget, thank you for the 15K. We've come a long way, and it's crazy to think that 2 years ago we were just starting and now we're moving. Thank you, but we still have a long way to go. Remember, always remember that the sky is the limit. Go crazy or go home. I'll see you soon. Peace.